This is what my PC setup looked like before I moved to my new apartment. It's a mess. Cables everywhere and enough dust to cause even the rats crawling around to get an allergic reaction. The PC is slow, has no storage left, and it sounds like a diesel engine. Since I moved to my new apartment, nothing has changed except I threw out the older computer that was only used by guests. But today we will completely transform my setup into this. For the past several weeks, my one-room apartment has been completely filled with boxes as I've been accumulating all the parts I needed to the point where I need to move boxes around just to be able to cook food or get clothes from the closets. One of the first things that I unboxed was this webcam arm that I will mount to another table and attach my phone to be able to record myself. Sadly, the quality of my phone does not match the rest of my gear, so the quality of these shots are terrible. Sorry about that. The first step is to tear down my old setup. The only parts that will be reused from this setup is the mic, the webcam and the monitor. That is so I can have a dual monitor setup and a dual webcam setup. Everything else will be brand new. This setup is now 7 years old. Editing videos on this PC is a pain because the preview of the video I'm editing is so laggy that I can't see what it would look like, so I have to make test renders, which takes a lot of time. My PC even gets blue screens every once in a while, and I'm all out of storage to make videos, and even some of my peripherals like my mouse is beginning to break down, making the mouse pointer have a life of its own, so getting this new setup will be amazing. Once I finished tearing down my old setup, I started a new project. I'd seen some videos on YouTube about people making these DIY cloud ceilings. Basically, you tape some paper to the roof and then attach an LED light strip and then glue some polyester to it. This makes the ceiling look like clouds, and you can create some really cool lighting effects with it. I thought this looked really cool and would give a nice comfy feeling to my little apartment. The reason to tape the paper to the ceiling is to protect the ceiling from the glue. Taping all of this paper up took me ages, but once I was done, I started putting up the light strip. The result so far was good, and I was really excited to see what it would look like with the clouds glued on there. But there was a slight problem. The polyester is in such small pieces that gluing all of this to the ceiling would be really hard, take ages, and probably require more glue than I had bought, so I did what any reasonable man would. Next I built a table which I did not record. It's a 2 meter x 1.8 meter height adjustable table that weighs over 100 kilos and is assembled upside down and then turned over. Turning over a 100 kilogram corner table this size without cracking it took 3 people, and it was not easy. Next, we're gonna put up some acoustic wall panels from Streamplify. I got 9 of them and will be cutting them down into their 3 subcomponents to put them up on the wall in a little more artistic pattern. Don't mind the goblin hair, I haven't been outside for a while, let alone the barber shop. My mom actually gave me a visit to the barbershop as a gift recently, and she keeps asking me when I will redeem it. I think she might be hinting at something. I also put up a wall-mounted LED clock and ran the cable behind one of the panels. Next up, we will mount the Elgato key light before we put up the monitors, and also the mic and the webcam arm, which means I will no longer be able to use that for my phone recordings, so a lot of the recordings from here on out will be updates in between me putting things up. Next, I unboxed my custom PC. It's the Lian Li Dynamic Evo with a Gigabyte 4080 Aero graphics card, an Intel i7-13700K processor, 64GB of DDR5 Dominator Platinum RAM, a 4TB Samsung 990 PRO NVMe SSD, and a 20TB Seagate Exos hard drive for long-term video storage. All of the specs of my PC and all other parts in the setup will be listed in the description.
Alright, so check this out. They didn't install the support brackets for this fucking thick GPU, and I'm too scared shitless myself to unplug it and plug it back in using the support bracket. But look at this. This is included, and guess what? It will serve as a perfect support bracket. One sec.
After my support bracket at home solution, I put the old monitor in place and also my music speakers and my new printer that I bought, mostly to be able to print out stuff like receipts and transactions etc. that needs to be documented for tax purposes. Then I put up a new monitor and some of my new peripherals, and I also got this footrest under the table which also serves as a box for some of my stuff, which is pretty good since I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. Next, it's time to replace my old squeaky chair that has almost no stuffing left in the armrests with this new chair that is made of a non-squeaky material that I like a lot better. Then I attached an Elgato light strip under the table which will look really nice at night, and now we are almost done. I peeled the new LG OLED C3 and after that my PC as well. The monitor is 42 inches and doubles as a TV, and I will give my review of the monitor and all the other parts of the setup later in the video. I also got a giant retractable green screen. I may or may not use this for streaming. I do have another purpose for it planned out, which I won't say yet, but we will probably end up playing around with it on the stream as well. After checking out the cable management, we are now finally done. This all took like 4 entire days. I was very sick while putting this all together, which might have contributed to it taking so long, but still, it was a lot of work. $10,000 later, I am a happy content creator. Since I recently made the jump to do YouTube full time, which is a journey I will share and update you on, continuing with my old setup was not really an option since it was disgusting, hard to clean, had a lot of inefficiencies, and was about to break down for good. With this setup on the other hand, everything is buttery smooth and super fast. Every day I wake up will be with a smile on my face as I sit down in my dream setup that I've wished for since I was a kid. And I sit down to make gaming videos for a living, also something I used to dream about as a kid. With this setup, my videos from now on will be moving from 1080p to 1440p, and I am surprisingly the first YouTuber in the BTD6 community to make this move. My videos will also be recorded in a higher bitrate, which will be great for the late game videos, and they will also be recorded in 120 FPS instead of 60. Now 60 is the max that YouTube allows, but the fact that I record in 120 means that I can make slow motion effects that will be a lot smoother and won't look as choppy. Even if you have bad internet access and choose not to change the quality from 1080p to 1440p, you will still benefit from me recording in 1440p, since that means that any zoomed in shots will still look a lot better even if you stay on 1080. With this setup, I hope to be live streaming a lot more, starting in about 2 months from now. I'm currently working on learning my new editing software, DaVinci Resolve, and my new photo editing software, GIMP, and I'm also learning a lot of new things about streaming. One piece of streaming equipment I got is the Elgato Stream Deck Plus, which will allow me to do things like change scenes and play audio clips at the press of a button when live. I also use it outside of streaming. Every time I turn on my PC, I always open up the same 4 tabs: YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and TradingView. And it's really nice to now only have to press one button and they all pop up. A nice little quality of life thing. In terms of webcams, I have my old Logitech C920 1080p camera as well as my new Logitech Brio 4K camera. It's good quality, but as you can see it gets really grainy due to the lack of light in the room. And that's where the Elgato key light comes in. I'm really happy with this one too. It can get really bright and really dim, and the fact that you can change color temperature, in other words how blue or orange the light is really nice. The only thing about it that could be better is the ball that you tighten to lock the light itself in a certain position at a certain angle. Even when you tighten it really hard, the light has trouble not leaning over from its own weight when placed at an angle. Next up is the mic, which is the same as before. I got this upgrade a few months into my YouTube channel. It's the Shure MV7, which I'm pretty happy about, other than the fact that you have to get really close to it if you really want to make it sound good, which I am not at the moment. And if you get really close like that, you really want to have things like a compressor and a limiter to make sure that you sound good all the time, which is something I will make sure to get soon to improve my audio quality. I also got this new custom controller from Scuf to match the white theme of my new setup, and it's great to see that their product has managed to get even better since I got my last one many years ago, even though I would expect that there wouldn't be too much to innovate on at this point. As for the 42-inch 4K OLED LG C3, it's amazing. It's such a huge jump in every single spec compared to my old monitor. The image quality is great and the size is perfect. My desk is 80 centimeters deep, which turned out to be a very optimal distance. It's very nice when editing to have this crazy amount of screen real estate, and it's also really immersive when playing games. I use my PC for like 10 hours a day, and a lot of people worry about burn-in when using an OLED monitor. I guess we will just have to wait and see, but I think it will be fine. Don't live in fear. Spend money. The keyboard is a Roccat Horde Aimo. My old keyboard was a Roccat Iscu that I really liked, and I wanted to get something similar, so I basically got the updated version. It's what's called a membranical keyboard, which is sort of a mix between mechanical and membrane. I don't really like mechanical keyboards. I don't like the way they feel or the way they sound, so this is something more my taste. This keyboard feels and sounds great, so I'm very happy with my choice. The mouse that I bought is a Logitech G502 Plus, which is a very popular mouse. I don't have too much to say about it other than the fact that I am very happy with it. I like my mice pretty big and heavy, which it is. And the specs for the competitive gamer are top notch, so a 10 out of 10 from me. My new headset is the Beyerdynamic DT 700 Pro X, and this is not really a gaming headset. Beyerdynamic makes headsets for studios and audiophiles. And oh my god, coming from a normal gaming headset to this was insane. The sound is so different. Listening to old songs, you can hear sounds that you've never heard in them before, and it sounds amazing. The comfort is on a whole new level too. It's by far the best headset I have ever had, and I will keep it forever. Beyerdynamic don't really make new headsets very often, and the headsets they do make stays. I think I will buy the very same headset whenever this one gets worn out in the future. Buying headsets without trying them on first can be very hard, especially if you're not an expert on the subject, but I hit the jackpot. If you want great neutral sound and crazy good comfort for 10 plus hours a day with a headset on, these are for you. The only drawback is that they are 48 ohms, which makes them pretty quiet if you use them in a PC without an amplifier, because they're pretty hard to drive. But despite that, and despite the fact that I don't have an amp, I am very happy with my choice. I just have to turn up the volume to nearly max whenever I want loud music. Now, as for the title, do you need a 10K setup to play Bloons Tower Defense 6? Not exactly, right? Playing normally, I get about 1000 FPS with this new PC. For those of you who may not have seen my videos before, I make Bloons videos and I like to set records pushing the game as far as it goes, and that causes lag. Like 1 frame per second kind of lag. Because of that, a lot of the comments on some of my videos go something like, "Get this man a supercomputer." But in reality, getting a faster computer won't really make the game run a lot better when you have a lot of towers on the screen due to how the game was coded. Within the next few days, we will do a video diving deep into the topic of lag in BTD6, and I will compare my old PC to my new one to see how much it actually helps, and I will explain how it all works and what you can do to mitigate lag. The reasons for the crazy PC specs are mostly to be able to edit my Bloons videos using high-res footage without lag and have tons of storage for it, while also being able to play other games in 4K 120 FPS while live streaming it. Let me know what you thought about the setup down in the comments. Should I submit it to Setup Wars and see what Ed thinks about it? Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.